Welcome to Mama Mia's DIY Projects, episode number 2, where she believed she could, so she did. Want to see how I went from this to this? This is me taking the show on the road. I've got all my supplies, 12 bags of mulch, 4 hostas plants, 7 perennials that are colorful, ground cover, all my garden tools. I'm ready to go. Crossing the river to Maryland Heights, Missouri, my friend's parents, where she hired me to redo their front porch, patio, flower bed, where the weeds had just taken over. Flowers were looking like weeds, weeds were looking like flowers. This area just needed some TLC. The flower roses were overgrown, so I started out the day by getting the vehicle unloaded. That's the owner letting me know how good a job I am doing with unloading my vehicle. This is me pulling weeds and trimming and pruning the roses. They just really had overgrown and just needed some love. This is me just pulling weeds and getting all the debris out so that this area could just be more manageable. This happens with a lot of senior citizens' homes where the adult kids are working and they're busy with their homes and families, and then the senior citizens just can't get to it and do it anymore. So I'm happy that I was able to help get their front area cleaned up. This is me trimming the bushes that were just really out of shape. They needed to be cut down and trimmed and just made to look more shapely. This big bush here was a monster. It was prickly. It was fighting me as I fought it. Note to self, wear a long sleeve shirt when you are doing yard work, because this bush put my arms to the test. I now have cuts and bruises on my arms that I did not expect to happen that day. So I ended up having to become innovative I was a cowgirl. I used the electric cord to try to pull the branches down so that I could get them trimmed, because it just was too high for me to reach. But I was determined. Eventually I had to just surrender and go get and ask for a step ladder and then go all the way up to the top. I thought I could reach it, but it was just too much. And now it's time to clean up all the leaves and the branches that I did knock down. Now it's time to cover the flower bed with a landscaping ground cover. This really helps with cutting down the work of weeding your garden. When you use this, it knocks down the number of times a week you have to weed, and you literally would only have to go out there and maybe pull weeds maybe once or twice all summer, because this basically keeps your weeds from getting sunlight and taking root and growing. This is where I took all the flowers and the plants and just decided where I wanted them to go based on size and dimensions and heights, but also based on what they needed in sunlight, because some of those areas got more sun than others. So this is where I would then dig out each hole and then put my plants down in them, and then brought the ground cover back around it. This beautiful plant is a black-eyed Susan. It's like a sunflower. She got so thirsty and started just wilting on me, so I had to give her a big dose of water to get her back to life. So as you see, I cut holes in each of the ground cover and then get the plants around them after I dig the hole, and then get that down into the ground. This is the mulch that I'm putting around the flowers and plants to just give it definition, and just gives your garden a beautiful, very clean, classic look. Looks very finished when it's done. Remember that pot that sat on the corner of the driveway of the patio, or right at the driveway patio? instead of spending $45 for a pre-made planter that is simply flowers, a variety of flowers put together, I spent probably about $15 and made up my own. These are 2 little Impatiens 8-packs and then a plant that goes in the middle to give it some drama. And you've got your own beautiful planter that is a focal point on your patio. The owner thought I did a good job too. And the final touch is the solar lights that I first just spaced out based on where I thought I would want them to go and their distance from each other, and then put the stakes in and got them into the ground. And this is the final result. Beautiful knockout roses, my black-eyed Susans, beautiful perennials. That's a balloon flower, that purple. And then other perennials, the hostas, flowering perennials. It's unusual to see perennials that colorful because usually they're much more muted in tone. More lilies that were already there, hostas that was already there. That's that bush that I trimmed. And then more lilies and hostas. Those are additional hostas that I put in. That's that booger monster bush that tried to take me, but I won. And it's now nicely trimmed and rounded off. And so this is a really nice, rewarding experience of taking something that was really needing some love and giving it what it needed. The senior citizens that live in this home definitely will appreciate these solar lights, giving them extra lighting, especially if that front porch light is not on and they needed some light to come down that sidewalk before they got in the door. Beautiful black-eyed Susans and your roses and another set of black-eyed Susans. And there's that beautiful planter. The most interesting before and after I think of this video is the Mia of the video. This is me in the morning, fresh, 6 a.m., glowing, the sun is rising, I'm driving off to my new project. And this is me at the end of the day. Dirty, tired, exhausted. I need about 8 ibuprofens. I think I'm rambling about how tired I am. That was a lot. So I recommend you hiring people under the age of 50 to do that kind of work, because I can design, I can come up with all kinds of plans, but that is labor intensive. So hope you enjoyed. See ya. Mwah.